Hey guys, welcome back to some companions. Today's video, we're going to be looking at the store and shops, breaking these down in their entirety because I had to understand this from a personal perspective on exactly what we're looking for in companions. Now, the thing to note is when it comes to companions, there is kind of two different sections. One is the hero acquisition, using your diamonds to summon heroes, getting the scrolls. The other side of this is building out the current heroes that you have. And of course, with the transcendence of heroes within this game, does make a big difference when you are building these heroes out, because if you have a multitude of copies, you can actually build them up a little bit further. And I want to kind of break this down in the store from really two solid scenarios. Now, the first one, when it comes to the store itself, your priority in here should be common scrolls. Now, the reason for this, again, when you're thinking of earlier AFK Arena or companions, there's a point where it is very hard to acquire your basic heroes. When you think of the ability to get your Celestials, your Hypos, but all of the primary four factions, the common hero scrolls are going to give you the ability to do more summons. More summons is going to result in more heroes. And of course, if you're looking at the Wilders, if you're looking at some of the factions, even in the future, you're going to have a lot of heroes built and you're going to have them built up a lot higher. Now, a little bit different than what we see on the Classic, because if you think about Classic, there is not a reason to build and add stars onto the heroes. In Companions, it is the opposite. There is a really big reason to build stars on these heroes, and it is because when it comes to the furniture, when it comes to the engraving, it is built in the star system in this game. If you don't know, they call it the divine abilities, and that unlocks some skills and abilities as well as stats within that mode. So common heroes, again, this is going to be a big priority, and you can see it was 2,100 gold to get 10 of these. If you're summoning them in the shop itself, it is more expensive. This is the cheaper way to actually do the summons in here, is buying them in their entirety. Now, after that, gold for dust. Now, you can see right here, I did buy both of these dusts out. This is a 1,000% priority because as you can see, we have 719 million gold. Gold in this game is absolutely stupid with how much we get. We don't get a lot of other things and we don't have a lot of things to purchase with gold. That's why we're coming up on 1 billion gold already, which is crazy. After gold, the third priority in here would be your red chest in the entirety, because when it comes to red chests, there is almost no place within this game currently to actually get them and build them out. That is the reason why, and of course, when it comes to diamonds, like we said earlier, it is going to be the difference between using your diamonds for summons, using your diamonds for hero development and really building. There has to be a fine kind of edge between those two. Now, when we think of the third one, it is going to be both of these, your primordial and your amplifying emblems. Exactly depending on what you need within here, you could go ahead and pick up either one of those. And again, when it comes to both of these, can't buy them for gold like we can in the classic version. They are a lot more difficult to acquire, especially getting to bulk, doing the plus 10 signature items, plus 20, and then of course the red chest to that plus 30 signature item. Now, looking at the arena store, this is another place where it really does come to red chest. This would be, in my opinion, the priority. If you're a newer player, again, to companions, I would probably go in here and maybe do some of these summons. Again, if you're very, very early, if you're just starting out, might be beneficial to do some of these Destiny summon scrolls or even get some of these Stargazer scrolls very early, but there'll be a point very fast that you do need red chest. Again, if you have the expectation to get any of these heroes to a plus 30 signature item, it is really going to be the priority. Now, once you do get the chests out of here, second priority would be your Stargazer scrolls. When it comes to your Celestial and your Hypo heroes, they are super, super difficult to acquire, short of being very heavy pay to win. Even looking since we've started this game, I have Taylene at Legendary Plus. Rest of them were just random summons out of there, but that is the way that you have to build them. You're going to have to focus on, again, building out the red chest. Then I would go in here. The other question that kind of ran in here is if you had one copy of these heroes, if you don't get them through regular summons, and honestly, I believe both of these at this point, I have gotten them through regular summons, but short of that, I would probably go in here again with the primordial and amplifying emblems. So number one would come to the red chest, number two would be your Stargazer scrolls, and then the third one would be those primordial and those amplifying emblems, and then so on and so forth. If you have that much, you could get some copies of Orthos, could get some copies of Mortis or even the Destiny scrolls. But overall, the big thing with Destiny scrolls is you can get these scrolls or utilize your diamonds to get the scrolls, making it a big difference. Now, when it comes to the guild, this is another one that is kind of questionable. If you're earlier to companions, get the scrolls, get the summoning scrolls. They are going to be the #1 priority. Once you start getting a lot of the heroes built, once you start actually developing and getting a lot of copies of those heroes, starting to get them to Ascended, starting to add stars on there, then I would actually flip this into your tier stones. Now, as it sits today, this is the only place that I am aware, might be different, let me know in the comments, but this is the only place that I am aware that you can get tier stones at this point in this game. Don't know if that's going to be introduced to your AFK rewards or anything. Even once you hit chapter 31, you start getting gear. That is the reason why when it comes to gear, not super beneficial. If you are looking to pick up gear for all of the heroes, really, it is about focusing on building out and getting the weapons. Now, what happens within here, if you're getting the mythic gear out of here, as you can see, there is a little question mark for what faction it is. I have purchased gear out of here and there was no faction at all, which is kind of crappy because even though it has the question mark, when I purchased the gear, it did not have a faction related with it, meaning we're not getting the faction boost. So to go ahead and put tier stones on it, not super beneficial at this point. And then of course, when it comes to the actual heroes, I would not and do not buy any of these heroes out. You'll get them in the wish list. You'll get them through acquisition. You'll get them through summons in a matter of time, saving till you actually get to the point to get those tier stones. And of course, again, gear will come in time. If you look at a majority, even higher level players, they are rocking most of the legendary plus gear because the mythic gear is so very expensive. Again, for me, I'm saving for tier stones. You can see that we actually bought one of these tier stones already. That was to go on shell tier. Then of course we have the barracks. Now looking at the barracks, again, you can see kind of how we built this out with the randomness of the blue stones, but the priority within here is the heroes themselves. So when we think again of this game, the difficulty that we're seeing with food to build up heroes, you can focus on a faction. For instance, if we're going for Wilders, we can buy out and get a copy of Ogi. That is going to be your big first priority. And then of course, going in for your regular blue stones, depending on which faction you need heroes on, which honestly, you'll get to a point when you start getting to multiple teams. You unlock 2 teams in the campaign, you get to 3 teams in the campaign. You're going to need all of these heroes in the entirety. So in the earlier game, when you can pick them up out of the faction itself, it makes a really big difference. And honestly, the rare stones, the food, you will always need it at this point. Once you are, if you're pay to win, if you're really going in here and whaling it out, these stones, as much as I like the elite hero stones, I really don't buy them out of the shop because they are so expensive. I would rather have the food to build a multitude of heroes up to Ascended, being able to get those, mythic plus heroes all the way up to Ascended without getting the stones themselves, because again, I feel like the cost really isn't there for the stones themselves. So let's hop in, guys. I want to do a couple summons before we're done here, and it's getting super bright, and as you can see, we do have the Lions gear on. They are playing tonight. I'm super stoked that they are in the playoffs, but as you can see, we have 41 scrolls. Now again, wish list is going to be a huge priority. You want to focus on this and getting those heroes up, like we said earlier, getting them up to 5 stars is the priority because they have those divine abilities. So it's super important to build them out. And there's a triple, guys. Look at that. Double copies of Respin, which I absolutely will take. Another copy of Gwen, which is awesome to see. Anytime that we can get some elites, especially in a triple format, that is amazing to see that we got those copies. And of course, 1, 2, 3 means we're going to get another elite right here, which is just a single, but that is what, 40 scrolls with 4 copies. That is 1 each time. We do get some resources out of here. We'll go ahead and use these. Now, a lot of players did question as well, and we've heard this a lot. Is it worth saving the scrolls? Is it worth doing a 1 summon versus a 10 summon? Really, what is the best practice? In my opinion, guys, don't save resources in here because it could be food, it could be a lot. Now, you'll notice, though, that 300 summons for a single, 2,700 for a 10 pull. And honestly, if you're not getting a good income of diamonds, I would really focus on this area and this area alone, focusing on building out the heroes, not utilizing the diamond for the common scrolls, but using all of your diamonds in the store itself seems to be a lot more beneficial. Early game, you could use some diamonds in here, but overall, you'll get the scrolls on a regular basis to build out those heroes. Faction scrolls, the exact same. Same with your companion points, getting them built out. Now, of course, in here, we have the option of getting Pharrell. We have the option of, as you can see, extended by 42 days to actually get some more of the copies in here. I'm going to use all of my scrolls in here, trying to get some more of the dimensional spirits. Now, the big reason for this one, of course, is because we had all 3 dimensional heroes drop over here on companions, which is kind of crazy to have 3 heroes all together. And honestly, when it even comes to Stargazer Scrolls, there's no reason to save until you get to the point of getting 10. Every single time you get one of these guys, go ahead and use it up. This could be a copy of Taylene, this could be a copy of Diamonds, could be another epic card in here, or an elite card that you could get, some more red chests. Make sure you're using these on a regular basis. Again, there's no reason to stockpile resources within this game. If you are stockpiling resources, you are essentially hurting yourself with really the inability to build out heroes in their entirety. You really want to focus on building out the heroes ASAP once you do get them built up. So let's run through here really quick. There's another copy right there of Gwen. Then we got those few more copies of Respin, which is good. We need some more copies of them, but looking here, we have double of Gwen right now. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna use both of these of Angelo. That is going to take us to Legendary. Boom, there is our Legendary Plus. And yes, I have gotten some food. That takes her up to Mythic just like that. Now again, signature item-wise, which is unlocked right here, we don't have any of the Primordial or the Amplifying or enough red chests to really make a difference. But you can see Hendrik, we're waiting for copies. Even Gwen, again, getting her built up a little bit further. Just need a little bit more food and we'll be able to build her up. Now, Thisu is another one. Warwick is another one. You could definitely build either of those up. You can see we've already focused and we're building out Skarath as it sits right now. Actually have a little bit more to build them up. And this is baby steps, guys, every single time that we're building out heroes. And I don't know if Skarath was the best choice, but when it came to Skarath, we had enough copies. That is something to remember when it comes to building these heroes up. Like even here, Thisu, even looking at Brutus, guys, we have not seen any more, even though these heroes are in the wish list currently. I haven't seen additional copies. Warwick has been in there since he's been able to. We've only seen 2 copies. We're not getting super lucky in there. Now, of course, right here, we have double copies right here. We're still building out Oku. Oku was the only one I had double copies. So again, we're going to wait. We have 4 Wilders already maxed at 5 stars. And then the same with the Greyborn. We are building out right now. We're building out Hodgkin. As you can see, we need a little bit more. We have 2 already maxed, 2 other Ascended. So we are almost to having Ascended heroes in every aspect. And then, of course, with Taylene, just need another copy and we'll be able to move that hero to Mythic. And of course, you can see we got her at max level already, which is awesome. So we're going to build up Albedo a little bit further. Then, of course, build up Ainz. So a lot of players also had questions about Ainz. When it comes to companions, it seems like the campaign is doing incredibly well. If you're using them in other game modes, we've seen them appearing every now and then. But when it comes to the cost, if you're building out Ainz, you're not going to be able to build out Sheltier. And honestly, out of these 2, Sheltier would be the priority over Ainz. And then, of course, Albedo needs a plus 30 signature item, which we are far away from getting that plus 30 signature item. But that is exactly what she needs to really be successful. The plus 30 in here is what increases the attack rating, which, of course, is super important. The defense that she gets, even from the unlock, the 10 to 20, not as important as the plus 30 that you get in here. Being able to stack the attack rating on dimensional heroes, absolutely a really, really big game changer in a lot of different game modes. But like I said earlier, when it comes to building these heroes out, you can see 5, 10, 15, 20. We already have 20 Ascended heroes in here, which is absolutely awesome to see. So, all right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.